So in preparation for Iron Wars 5, hosted at CT Fletcher's Iron Addiction right here in SoCal, I will be preparing for a deadlift and rep. So today we got 20 sets with 700 pounds. And it's singles, but every minute, on the minute, I gotta do a set.
PR lifestyle is more than just hitting a PR in the squat, bench, or deadlift. It's about being the best version of yourself, always improving.
Come on, somebody out there sitting working harder than you. Somebody going outwork you. Somebody outwork you right now.
You versus you.
I've always had large goals in mind for deadlifts. I've mentioned 1,000 pounds before, and one day I still aspire to achieve that. But now I have my eyes set on something a bit more attainable in the near future. So the event is on January 19th, and I'm going to try and do 800 for 10 reps. Now my all-time best with no suit, no straps, with Thor nearly 5 years ago now, time flies, was 800 for 7. And I remember my callus was tearing. Maybe I had 1 or 2 more in me, but I ended up with 7. And I didn't train specifically for an AMRAP with 800 pounds. I was actually training for a 1 rep max. At the time, I was trying to prepare for something over like 910, 920, an all-time raw deadlift PR. So I'm gonna try and do 800 for 10 with no suit, this time with straps. I don't trust my hands gonna be able to hold on for 800 pounds for 10 reps. But definitely with straps, but no suit, raw, shirtless, maybe a couple pimples on the chest popping and exploding. No guarantees. But anyways, I have John Gaglione, the best powerlifting coach in the business, the most passionate and the most helpful to me in my career, coaching me for this event. So today we got 20 sets with 700 pounds. And it's singles, but every minute, on the minute, I gotta do a set. So I haven't done this kind of training in literally years. Even when I prepared for my deadlift, which is my all-time best last year, which was 930 for 3 in a suit, I wasn't doing 20 sets of anything. So this is gonna be a challenge. But my back is healthy, everything feels great. I'm sure like about halfway in, I'm gonna probably be wanting to tap out, but this kind of training is what gets you strong. Let's get started. So, I received these collars from Lockshaw as a gift. I don't know how many eons ago. And I forgot every single deadlift and squat session to bring them. Finally, probably when I need it most, I remember to bring them. But these are arguably one of the best collars in the business. Unfortunately, most gyms, if you don't bring your own collars and lift some big weights, the collars are useless. And to prevent injury, I want to make sure those plates stay packed in tight. When they start sliding, right, and you're leaning one side to the other, just raise your chances for injury significantly. I personally have been hurt that way, but I never intend on being, especially now with some great collars. I highly recommend. You're gonna be going for PRs and you're going to commercial gyms, whichever, just bring your own collars in your bag. You don't have to worry about that. So John prescribed me with 20 singles with 700, 320 kg. And this is not a deadlift bar. This is better than a typical generic off-brand bench bar. There's no Southern Earling, but there's also no bend, which makes it more challenging on the lumbar. See, when you don't use the deadlift bar, you're putting more stress on your hamstrings and your lower back, right? So one can argue that it's a bit more dangerous because it puts you in a bit more of a vulnerable position, where the deadlift bar gives you an extra couple inches to play with before the weight actually fully breaks the floor. So you'll notice you'll be able to get through harder and longer training sessions with a deadlift bar than with a traditional bar. This wouldn't be considered a stiff bar, but relative to a deadlift bar, it is. With that said, haven't pulled 700, and I can't even tell you when, probably since last year, or I don't know, it's been a really long time. And you just said first session, 20 reps with 700. So I'm gonna see what I can do. It's supposed to be every minute on the minute. I'm gonna do the best I can without compromising technique or getting injured. So here we go. This would be significantly easier with a deadlift bar. It's a lot more stress on the lower back and hamstrings when it's this stiff off the floor. So you actually have to pull it an additional like 2 inches range of motion versus a deadlift bar. Yeah, so I'm not counting. I don't not want to know how many I have left, but it's not getting noticeably more challenging each rep. Obviously, they're moving slow, but even if I was in peak form, straight bar dramatically slows down how quickly you can move the bar. You don't get that same pop off the floor. But what this is going to do for me, next time I deadlift with a Texas bar, and I'm doing, it doesn't matter how much weight's on the bar, it's going to fly up. You're going to build so much power off the floor because the hamstrings and glutes have to adapt to breaking the floor with more range of motion. So once you get to a flexi, the Texas bar, it's going to be game over, no problem. So it only gets easier from here. A little over the minute rest, maybe like 2 minutes, 2.5, but it's not really getting any more challenging per set, and I'm already 12 singles down. I was expecting it to get more and more challenging as the sets went on, but it's been interesting how the body adapts. So with that said, over halfway done, let's not wasting energy and finish up.
Sit. Sit.
So I can't believe I pulled it out of my ass because I haven't pulled over 645, which was at Zoo Coach over 5 or 6 weeks ago. Since what, last year or so?
Yeah.
Right, this year my priority was bodybuilding, arm wrestling as a hobby, but powerlifting was not even an afterthought. I was lifting heavy occasionally because I enjoy it, it's fun, but I never set goals this year to hit X amount of weight for X amount of reps. So, did I think I could do 700 pounds after this long hiatus for 20 singles? Absolutely not. But what I found interesting, like I mentioned earlier, is it didn't get any more challenging set by set. So my cardiovascular system wasn't being stressed. My breathing was totally fine, right? It's the longest deadlift workout I think I've done in a while, but definitely not the most challenging. When I think about the most challenging deadlift sessions I've had, it would be last year towards the last few weeks of my training prep with Mark Boyd, leading up to 929 for 3. I remember doing 9 sets of doubles with deficit pulls, block pull, off the floor pulls, and it was just with more load, it was more weight, but I was in a suit. So the cool thing about a deadlift suit is that it saves your back from getting overly taxed. When you do raw lifting, your body's a bit more vulnerable. When you use things like wraps on the elbow or knee, or deadlift suits, squat suits, for example, there's not quite as much stress on your spine. You don't feel it, right? What's actually going on internally, I can't speak of, but as far as what you feel, when I had the deadlift suit on last year, I remember my back felt fresh all throughout the entire prep, which is never the case when doing raw lifting. Nonetheless, did 21 singles here. Super happy. Nothing's better than when you start the prep off with no missed reps, no injuries, no aches, no pain. So that says my trajectory for my goal at Iron Wars 5 over at Iron Addicts is looking good so far. With that said, if you guys want to get a killer workout, come here to Ultra Flex in Monrovia, and we'll see you guys very soon next one.